Hi, this is Mike Costello. I'm here at the University of St. Thomas with.
Father Chris Collins.
Great to see you, Toph.
Good to see you, Cos.
All right, so it's been a while since we've caught up. Can you tell us about your position here at St. Thomas?
Yeah, I just started here like a year and a half ago, and I'm the vice president for Mission, it's called. So it oversees campus ministry and the Center for the Common Good, where a lot of the volunteering stuff happens. Then I work with faculty and staff on different things about kind of the Catholic identity of the university.
Great. Now, it's been a while since you've been at Cutter. Can you give me a quick tour through your journey since you left Cutter?
Sure, and even starting there, I went to St. Thomas, then I stumbled into a job at Cotter, and I had a great 2 years there while you were my mentor teacher. And then after that, I joined the Jesuits and a religious order within the Catholic Church. So I was back up here in St. Paul for a couple of years, studied at Creighton for a year, St. Louis U for 3 years, taught high school in Milwaukee, studied theology in Boston. I was a pastor on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota for 2 years. Then I went back for more studies at Boston College. Then I worked at St. Louis U for 8 years before coming here.
Wow, that's cool. Quite a journey. In fact, I remember very well, one of my favorite masses I've ever been at was your first mass as a Jesuit in Omaha.
In Omaha, yeah, I got ordained at Creighton University at the chapel there, and then the next day had a great mass. That was a whirlwind. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
It was with Dan Kleinschmidt, Cutter grad,
Yeah,
one of his
exactly.
students.
Right.
So, what do you remember about your time at Cutter?
You know, I had a blast there. It was my first job. I didn't really know how to teach at all, but I think I just loved it. I loved the students. Mary Eileen was one of my first students there, your little sister. And it was just so fun to try to, you know, I was a philosophy major up here, so I taught religion down there, and students were great. They gave me a hard time, but we became friends. And I still remember all those that first year of teaching was just great. Great sense of community there, I thought, and I loved Winona too. I really enjoyed it.
Great. Well, you're welcome back anytime, of course. You're dealing with a lot of young students, and we've got a lot of students who are preparing to go to college. Do you have any advice for the juniors, seniors as they move into college? What would you say helps some things that you've seen from your experience here?
Yeah, you know, one thing, actually we're still doing like orientation sessions right now, and one thing I really try to stress, because everybody, like when they're starting, for the most part, they're both excited and nervous, you know, and that's understandable. You get anxieties about different things. How's this all going to play out? Who am I going to make friends with? Am I going to be successful in classes and all that stuff? So there's a lot of stuff that just is hard on people these days that cause self-doubt and all that kind of stuff. And I think the thing that I talk about is spend some time remembering, instead of worrying about the future, remember the past and remember the gifts that you've received and the people who have loved you and supported you, all the stuff that you've already accomplished. Like, you got the goods already, you know, you have the goods. Be grateful for what's been given already. And the more we have, I think, the more we have that gratitude and realize what has already happened, then that gives me the confidence for the future to face whatever I need to face, and not fall into that temptation of getting closed in on ourselves and self-doubt and worry and stuff. Just like, forget it, you know. I know that's easy to say, but
Yeah.
but it's a practice of like being grateful all the time, and that's the source of my confidence for the future. That's one thing that I would kind of stress. So.
Yeah, speaking towards that too, I think you're at a Catholic university, but what do you see with faith life on campus, or how can kids blossom after they've kind of, maybe their parents were directing them, making them go to church,
Yeah,
whatever,
right.
when they're on their own?
Yeah.
What have you seen for them?
You know, in some cases, some students have grown up actually never going to church, or
sure.
not really these days, they're not really being part of any kind of faith community. So sometimes when they come to college at a Catholic school, this is the first time they ever come across it, and everybody's there freely. And it's like, wow, I didn't know that faith could be like this, and with peers too, and getting involved that way. So sometimes that happens. They really come alive with it. And I think the main thing is to have a sense of, you know, there's other people like me with the same desires and same challenges in life and struggles, but that's why it's so important to be a part of a community, you know, and not just try to figure this stuff out yourself. I think that's the big advantage that I know, I hope more and more students really take advantage of it, you know, and you don't really know what it's like until you're in that community, but it's like huge if you get to be a part of it, and I have a sense of belonging there, and I can contribute to the community too, you know. So,
Yeah, that's great. So, you're an author,
yeah.
and I know you've got, I read your first book about prayer. What's your most recent work about?
It's also kind of about prayer, kind of what I was just talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called Habits of Freedom,
Okay.
and kind of some little daily spiritual practices, sort of to, even if you're like starting out, if things are unstable in life, that's okay, because that's when God can kind of become really powerful in our lives. And so getting a little destabilized is not the end of the world, but in the midst of that, it's really important to remember the truth of who I am, who we are. We're beloved sons and daughters of God, you know, that's the most fundamental identity we got. And then to reject the lies that we can fall for, you know, we can fall for, I'm not adequate, nobody loves me, I don't belong. Those are all lies, you know. So there's some just little daily practices that I throw out there in the book that are hopefully helpful, you know. And then part of it is also like, keep living, right? Don't just get caught up in your own thoughts about things by yourself. Like, get out there and act and live and do stuff, and then you have new experiences to draw upon too. So
Is it available in the bookstore?
it is. That's a good question.
Well, we'll get the link on Amazon and get it out to Rambler Nation for
All
sure.
right. Okay, good deal.
Any parting words?
No, this has been great to have the little reunion here, and looking forward to another Costello here on campus. And so
Yeah.
thanks for doing this.
No, thank you. And for sure, we want to get you back at some point, talking to the Cotter students and community. So great to see you again. Toph,
Thanks
take
so
care.
much, guys. All right.